a special indicator getting lined up on the weekly chart and something special potentially getting ready to happen on the daily. What is going on with those ADA charts? What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Thank you for coming by. Let's jump into the ADA charts. This is just a straight up Cardano technical analysis. I just want to go through the charts. It's kind of got a little bit of a more bullish sentiment to it, a bullish feel to it. We talk about upside all the time. We talk about downside all the time. In this video, though, we're going to be probably focusing on the potential for a breakout. What needs to happen, but what's lining up on the charts that could be potentially signaling this happening. Now, we've been tracking this. I'm going to start right with this on the weekly chart, the MACD getting ready to cross. I mean, just look at this blue line on this chart. And let me try and zoom in for you. Getting ready to cross above this red line. A big piece of this puzzle, it is going on Friday tomorrow. How will this weekly candle close for Cardano? If we're looking at the weekly candle, it's a current green candle. Is there going to be upside in the coming days where we get kind of a nice, powerful close on this weekly candle? That's one thing to watch for. This move to the upside that we're waiting for ADA, a big move that we're waiting for is just ADA getting back above this 200-week moving average. That is right around 55 cents or so. It's a nice move for Cardano to be able to get to that range. Price range wise, we'd be looking for 14% or so, 13 to 14% move for ADA. But this MACD cross getting ready to happen, this MACD line getting ready to potentially cross above this signal line, the red line, is a big deal for the macro charts for ADA, because when we're looking at this weekly chart, look at this. This is literally the roller coaster that we've been on, that we've been enduring for over half a year now. This was the overbought environment, the bull market high for ADA, and now we're in bear market territory. And on this momentum oscillator, the MACD, you're really getting a sense for it. So it's nice to see the histogram just kind of cruising to the upside, almost at zero. But again, the weekly chart, big deal. I want to bring two things up on the daily chart, and I want to start with this. This is Cardano Dan. Before I was recording this video, I saw him tweet, ADA is attempting a breakout from its downtrend since April. When I was going to do this video, I wasn't really thinking about these trend lines, these upper trend lines. We know ADA has been in this long-term trajectory to the downside, right? We've been tracking it this whole time. It's been lower highs. And I wasn't really thinking too much about just these lower highs, basically, and what ADA potentially is getting ready to do. Now, he's basically saying since April, ADA getting ready for a potential breakout, right? And you can kind of see what he's alluding to right here. It's getting very close to that trend line. But what he's talking about on these daily charts, the potential breakout here, it plays into the stepping stones that are required for ADA to get back above this huge trend line. So I really wanted to point that out. And in doing so, in telling this story of ADA potentially breaking this trend line that he referred to, what's happening right now is something special on the daily chart. It is always something special when this happens. It's ADA and the 20-day moving average. Now, if you're unaware, as we've been tracking this entire bear market and we've been tracking ADA fall to the downside for months and months and months, it's been just this struggle for ADA to stay above the 20-day moving average, this green line that you see here, right? We always wait for these breakouts above it, and then we wait for that just bullish support above it, the bounce above it for higher highs and higher lows, and it pretty much has not happened, right? It's always the same story of ADA falling back below that 20-day moving average, falling below the 20-day moving average. And it just keeps doing it. It even just did it in June, right? We got above it, and it was showing some promise until we saw the 50-day moving average rejection, and then boom, right back below the 20. So here we are again, and I have to keep tracking it until that time where ADA stays above it and shows support above it, and we're starting to turn the ship around, and this is why I'm tracking these things. So right now, here's the special move, as we call it. What I think is good this time around is ADA has really been consolidating for a while. This capitulation back in May, this is almost 2 months ago. ADA's been kind of just sideways trading, obviously with some structure in here that we've been also tracking. But it's nice to see that, right? It's not like it went and broke above the 20-day and then fell below and then it's just crashing, and then it's testing the 20-day down here. It's actually like there's been sideways consolidation and structure on these ADA charts, and now ADA once again above the 20-day moving average. I should say this, it's a new daily candle. There's 22 hours left, but first things first, this past daily candle, it just closed a couple hours ago. It closed above the 20-day. So we're going to keep an eye on this current 20-day moving average, especially now that the 50-day moving average has been pulled right into the 20-day moving average. I mean, they're converging together very closely. So there's a very small range here where ADA is operating between resistance and potential support. Support being 20-day, resistance being 50-day. That 50-day resistance that I'm looking at right now, if we check this out, we're at it's like a 5% move away for ADA. Now, all in all, when we're watching this 20-day moving average, a 50-day moving average, we're also waiting, and this is what we talked about in the last ADA video, we're waiting for this move to just kind of this general vicinity that meets these trend lines of this ascending triangle that ADA broke down out of, right? It never hit its target. It never hit its target to the downside, which was just below 30 cents. And so it broke to the downside and just got immediate structure, and we're waiting for just this pullback where this could be a busted ascending triangle where we get this breakout to the upside. We're waiting for that. We're just looking for that breakout to tell that story. Now, going in deeper here, this is where things get kind of exciting on the shorter term. This is like something to actually track right now. So we talk about upper trend lines zoomed out. We just looked at on the weekly. We looked at what Dan was talking about going back to April. Well, now we're really short term here. We have another upper trend line of this descending triangle that we were talking about. And you can see ADA is making its move. We talked about this in the last ADA video, making its move to the upper trend line. So right now, tonight, I'd be curious. It looks like there's already some lower high resistance in this vicinity. I'd be curious to see if ADA actually just is either sideways or just sees rejection back down to the downside as we get closer and ready to test this apex of this triangle. A breakout out of this area would be the best first move for ADA to really start showing some bullish signals, bullish momentum. If we get the breakout this early of this triangle, this could lend itself to what we started talking about at the beginning of the video, which is this MACD line crossing above the signal line, the blue line crossing above the red line. And that could be a really big deal for the macro charts for ADA and just this macro reversal that we're waiting for. Remember, all of this, it doesn't stem from Bitcoin. Here's a Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin weekly, also just getting up there, about to test the 200-week moving average. It's a big deal, but this all stems from traditional markets. So S&P 500 index, been talking about that a lot lately. We see a green weekly candle, potential, setup for a rally happening in traditional markets. If this happens, ADA is set up, because the one thing I haven't even talked about, and I'm going to have to do an update video on this, is the Volatile hard fork. We're in this environment where the Volatile hard fork is this month, end of month, and just check it out. It's primed because we know what has happened in previous hard forks, these pumps going into the hard fork event, right? So it's primed. This time we're in a bear market. It's been diverging from that pattern of just strong pumps in the weeks prior, but ADA has been very healthy against things like even the ADA BTC pair. You can see since that we entered on this weekly chart, since we entered this green box, which is our data point for tracking these hard forks, since we entered there, you can see in May, ADA has seen like 40+% to the upside against Bitcoin pair. So ADA has been pretty solid, and that explains a lot. It explains the sideways trading, the sideways structure that we've just talked about on this daily chart. But really, I think right now, in the short term, as we watch traditional markets, we watch Bitcoin and crypto in general, I'm really curious to see on the short term how ADA interacts with the very short term structure that will probably act as a trigger to what happens truly next for ADA on the mid to long-term charts right here, happening right now on this descending triangle. So this is what I'm watching. At the end of the day, everybody, you know this isn't financial advice. This is not financial advice, but these charts, I did a Bitcoin video earlier. These charts, they're so reliable in terms of just providing data for us to visualize what is potentially going to happen next so we can be comfortable in our portfolios. There are so many reasons I haven't even talked about in this video of why I think ADA is best positioned for any bull move that is getting ready to happen or bull market that is potentially around the corner in the future. And I'm not saying like in days or weeks, but potentially months when that happens, right? It could be a while, but I think ADA is best positioned. And I'm telling you, a lot of these charts that we're looking at is starting to kind of show from a technical analysis perspective, putting fundamentals completely aside. And they're important. They are very important. But these are the ADA charts tonight. Let's see what happens, particularly on these short-term charts. Let's see if ADA can break above out of that short-term structure, that short-term triangle we just talked about. And even Dan's upper trend line here that he's watching. Curious to see how this plays out. You can see on his chart, it's really zoomed in here, but you can just see, look at ADA right above my video, right there. So big resistance now, but let's see what we wake up to tomorrow morning. I want to do a quick video, quick update for y'all. I hope you're doing awesome out there. If you're out there accumulating ADA, everybody, stake with a Crypto Capital Venture stake pool. I appreciate you. It's very enjoyable to just get rewards every 5 days in these stake pools, take part in the ecosystem of Cardano, take part in the consensus protocol, which I think is the most strong in the blockchain space. So I appreciate your support as we grow. Let's see what happens tonight. Have an awesome night. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.